me move on to this latest conflict between Dr. Ben Carson and Ted Cruz. Of course, Carson was on Deirdre Bolton's show last night responding to the claims that Cruz's staff told voters Carson was dropping out of the race. Listen.
If, in fact, he agrees that this was a very inappropriate thing to do and certainly does not represent his values, then he needs to do something about it. If it does represent his values, he doesn't.
What do you think went on there, Lee?
Well, I think it's true when Trump and other people say that Ted Cruz will do anything he can to win, though I'm not sure that separates him from any other successful candidate, certainly presidential candidate. But you have to look at the fact that there was several thousand votes that separated Trump and Cruz. So even if they engaged in that, and let's face it, they probably did. I mean, you're talking about a bunch of caucus supporters that are not being recorded. They're not on, most of them are not on television. So, you know, who knows what they were spreading. There are probably a lot of other things that were said that the candidates wouldn't want broadcast nationally. But the upshot is, you know, Trump won by or lost by enough that nothing like that could have made.
But this is a smart play for the weight. Trump is not saying, you did this to me. Trump's saying, I'm doing this on behalf of poor Ben Carson. So I think actually it was a smart move by Trump to go after Cruz by saying, I'm the defender of Ben Carson, who is probably easily the nicest guy in the race. I mean, it's like hitting a puppy.
I think the only problem with that is it's making a big deal out of something that voters do not care about. You talk about the ultimate in process. I don't think anybody in New Hampshire or in any subsequent state cares at all about what the Iowa caucus rules were or what rumors surrogates might have spread. You know, I think that's just a waste of time. You know, to me, Donald Trump's concession speech was better than Ted Cruz's victory speech. So he really came off of a high note there, and now he's obsessing and wasting time and boring voters and annoying voters.
Stages of grief are really coming out for Donald Trump. You see this kind of acceptance and then denial and then using Ben Carson in a lot of ways to question the results, which it seems are not going to be redigested, if you will.
No, there will not be a rematch. As much as he would like one, helpful as it might be.
But, you know, I mean, that whole idea that Ted Cruz could have stolen the election now, Donald Trump has put that out.
And it will make zero impact. And if he wastes any more time on that, he is not only is he not going to gain ground, he's going to lose ground. And I'll tell you another thing that struck me about the Iowa race and what political punditry has focused on is how powerful good old-fashioned television was in that race. I mean, Ted Cruz had the ground game, but Marco Rubio had the television game, the air game, and he dominated the television spot advertising leading up to the caucuses. And then he aired a 30-minute TV show in each of the major TV markets. So television was hugely responsible for how well Marco Rubio did.
But I think it's a little bit more than just television. I think Marco Rubio had a message, had a tone that conveyed to a lot of voters that going in that didn't want to go with the angriness of sort of the Trump-Cruz message. So television works, but I think Marco Rubio really caught wind, so to speak, with a message that also resonated a few days before the Iowa caucuses.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You've got to have a message, and you know, it's like the Edsel was very heavily advertised, but nobody wanted it. You've got to have a message. Rubio has the message. He's telegenic, and he produced good TV spots, and so did Bernie Sanders. You know, and having good commercials works, and authenticity sells. And I think both Rubio and Bernie have conveyed that authenticity, and it comes through, and they both produce television ads that conveyed that.
By the way, real quick, Clinton is postponing another financial services fundraiser. She's postponing fundraisers with BlackRock and Bain Capital because of this pressure, because she accepted the $675,000 from Goldman Sachs.
What you're seeing, too, is pressure in New Hampshire as well, and to stay in New Hampshire and campaign, because as of yesterday, there were no public events on the schedule for New Hampshire for both Bernie and Hillary Clinton. So we'll see how they adjust their strategies for the final vote.
All right, we'll leave it there. Lee, great to see you.
Great to be on.
Thank you so much for joining us. Come back soon. Lee Spieckerman there.